Welcome to the premiere of Education First Report, a segment dedicated to informing and empowering the families and caregivers of Chicago's K-12 public school students. Through thoughtful conversations, expert insights, and community-driven reporting, Education First is designed to break down the complex systems that shape our public schools, from funding and curriculum to school safety and student wellness. This month, we focus on chronic absenteeism. Chronic absenteeism is defined as students missing 10% or more of school. Chicago is grappling with an invisible crisis inside its classrooms. Nearly 41% of CPS students missed 18 or more days of school this year. Among high schoolers, 1 in 4 missed 35 days. That kind of lost time doesn't just impact test scores, it shapes futures. Chronic absence, especially in 9th and 12th grade, predicts who graduates and who doesn't. And stripped daily of instruction, the achievement gap deepens. We also recognize the complexity of chronic absenteeism and that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to the challenge. Helping me to unpack this critically important issue are 4 incredible student leaders from Mikva Challenge and the Block: Gregory Jaramillo, Divine Valdez, Daniel Ranson, Jamilio Willis. Welcome, one and all. Let's dive in. I've got a couple questions for you all. And recognizing we've got youth at the table, really excited about that. But adults across the country, are both nationally, locally, are talking about chronic absenteeism as a growing problem. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this growing challenge. Why do you think students miss school? We'll start with you.
Well, I think one of the main issues that's causing students to miss multiple days of school is mental health. I think mental health is an issue that is not only in schools but outside of schools, where students don't feel comfortable, they don't feel safe, and they don't feel like it's a community inside their school where they can go and get support. So I feel like that is one of the issues that causes students to miss multiple days of school.
Anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
I also believe that there is just a broader image when it comes to chronic absenteeism. Students have to work jobs. They have to pick up their siblings after school. Yeah. It's more than just a left or right decision. It's more like students are dealing with multiple things. And even in high school, there are a lot of students that do dual enrollment classes, so they go to college straight after going to high school.
I'm curious, what do students need to feel motivated, supported, and able to come to school more often? We'll go to Jamelia.
I think students need a staff support team, a team member, a role model in their life, especially at the school, to get them to want to go to school or engage in the curriculum or, just be involved in their school. And I also think they need motivation from their parents to continue to be active, not just because they're going to school, but congratulate them for showing up, for being there, for trying, Yeah.
Gregory, anything you'd add?
I like her answer. I feel like creating a safe space for each student. So for example, my life experience, my advisory teacher checks in with me every week. She tells us like what's going on, why are you tardy, why are you absent, what the students are tardy and absent. And honestly, I like that because she wants to get to know each other, the students, and I like that.
So I'll say so much of the conversation is focused on students missing school. We recognize adults also play a big role. And so, what do you think schools, teachers, even families could be doing differently to help students show up and stay engaged in school?
Well, I think just checking in, checking on the well-being of the student, making sure even if that student is having a good day or not, that the teacher or parent is being intentional and checking in and making sure that student feels welcome, feels safe, and feels connected and part of a community, because a school is a community at the end of the day, and we have to build that community with our teachers and build those relationships with our teachers so that we can just have support and feel like we can go to our teachers about more than just schoolwork.
I also feel like there should be more collaboration between youth and the current curriculum of CPS. A lot of students don't feel like they're engaged or even that they connect with the curriculum. They feel like it's outdated. They feel like there's just no relation for it. So when students don't feel like they're in the perspective of it, or that they're even being considered to be in this conversation now, they're not going to be engaged with it or have the motivation to even show up to school.
I'm curious, right? So much of the conversation, and y'all are hitting on some really great points. When you're talking amongst yourselves, when you're talking amongst friends, what do you say about missing school? Like, does it come up? Does it not come up? Is it as big a problem amongst each other, or is it not something that you all really engage on with each other? I'm curious.
So for me, my life experience, my friends will like say, oh, like, let's skip school, or like, let's skip a class because there's a test or a quiz. And I feel like they aren't engaged as much, and if they skip a class, they're gonna build up work to do later on, and it's gonna be like so much work, And I feel like they don't like realize how much it affects them as a student and as a person.
I want to be mindful of time. We've got 2 questions I want to hit you on. I think first is, what's not being talked about when it comes to students missing school, especially the things that matter to you? We'll start with Jamelia.
I would say probably back in like COVID, between that time, COVID and post-COVID, I think a lot of people think that now students should be like at this high standard or at this high level. And you have to think like during COVID, they didn't get the opportunity to be in school and to experience things that they would usually experience with peers and classmates that they've been isolated from for what about like 3 years, good 3 years or something like that. I don't know. And they're coming back to this space. They're coming back to this school. And adults and people in general are forcing them to, not forcing them, but just pressuring them to be like these people that they don't know how to be yet.
Additionally, I think community safety is something that's not talked about. The different barriers that it takes for students to be able to get to school, such as travel, such as navigating through some neighborhoods what might be dangerous. And like speaking from my personal experience, I've had friends who don't feel comfortable taking a bus or don't feel comfortable taking a train. And those are the only 2 ways to get to school. So if they don't feel comfortable, they don't feel safe because they know this neighborhood has a history, or they know they can't go to school like in a way that's going to be able to just them get straight to school and straight back, then they're going to feel like they don't want to go.
Divine, and then I've got one more.
I just feel like youth aren't being heard within the schools. I mean, we kind of have a system for disciplinary where it's kind of criminalizing the students.
Yeah.
I know at my school, if you were tardy for 3 times, you got a detention. Yeah. And I know suspensions and detentions do go to being chronic chronic absenteeism. And I know that's just unexcusable because we should be teaching restorative justice approaches so the youth are able to learn and build off of those experiences.
We're going to start with Gurgen, this last one. If you could change one thing to help students who miss a lot of school feel more seen, supported, and excited to come back, what would it be?
I feel like we need a student perspective. We need like student answers. We want them to feel heard. Maybe like little as like making a survey for the school and like putting a survey like how can we help them, and the students answer that survey so we can hear them and actually listen to them, because I know that some schools they just do it but they don't change anything. So yeah.
Devon, we'll come to you quickly and then we'll wrap over this way.
I feel like just checking up on the student one-on-one. When I was in high school, I was working 3 jobs. I would go to high school and then go straight to college. I was working, there was a lot on my plate, and I feel like a lot of my teachers were willing to work with me, and then there was a selective few who just criminalized me for not going. It was like if I wasn't in school, then I'm not being successful in life.
Right.
Danny?
I really want to echo what Greg said about amplifying student voices. I feel like that's something that's essential, and it's going to empower students to feel welcome and seen. And also restorative justice is something that schools need to implement as well.
Jamelia?
Yeah, similar to what Devon has said, that just checking in, checking up, making sure that they're all right, that they're good, how they feeling. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much for taking the time today. I want to thank Gregory, Divine, Danny, Jamelia. I wish you all continued success and everything that you do. When Chicago Newsroom 2.0 continues, Annie's joined by a Chicago leader starting a new chapter in her career. Stay with us.